Growing up, my family had a tradition where each of us could open one present on Christmas Eve. There were some caveats, like we couldn't open the most expensive presents, but my brother David and I always had a good time. That year, however, the tradition took a dark turn. It was a snowy Christmas Eve, the kind where the world outside seems to hush under a thick blanket of snow. Our living room was warm, lit by the glow of twinkling lights on the tree, and the air was rich with the scent of pine and cinnamon from Mom's baking. We waited eagerly, our eyes scanning the wrapped gifts under the tree, each one a mystery of joy or disappointment. David chose first, his fingers dancing over the packages until he settled on a small, oddly shaped box. He unwrapped it to reveal an antique snow globe, its base made of tarnished silver with intricate designs. Inside, a miniature house stood amidst a swirling blizzard whenever you shook it. "It's beautiful," I said, watching the snow twirl around the tiny, lonely house. "But why does it feel cold?" David muttered, his breath visible in the air around the globe, even though the room was warm. We laughed it off as a trick of the light, but something still felt off. Then my turn came, and I picked a flat, heavy package. Inside was an old leather book titled The Winter's Keep. Its pages were yellowed, the ink faded, but it seemed to pulse with a life of its own. As I flipped through, I noticed the stories were all about people trapped by winter, by cold, by isolation. Reading a few lines aloud, the room seemed to grow colder, the laughter of our family fading into a distant echo. "This house," I read, "once belonged to a man who loved winter so much, he wished never to leave it." The night deepened, and we went to bed, but sleep was elusive. The cold from the snow globe seemed to seep into the house, frost forming on our windows from the inside. The book lay open on my nightstand, its pages whispering in the silence. Morning came, but it wasn't the Christmas we expected. Instead, the house was encased in ice, not from the outside snow, but from within. The gifts under the tree were frozen, the ornaments on the tree hung with icicles. Our parents were nowhere to be seen, only their voices calling us from somewhere far, muffled by layers of ice. We tried to break free, but the cold was relentless. The snow globe on the table now showed our house, trapped in eternal winter, and the book next to it had flipped to a new page. It told the tale of two children who opened two very special gifts on Christmas Eve, never to see another Christmas morning. The tradition was meant to bring joy, but that Christmas, it brought something else. Something that would keep us locked in a winter that would never end. Back when I was a teenager, the thing I wanted most for one Christmas was a new high-end gaming PC. I'd spent months dropping hints, showing my parents every spec, every review, every benchmark of the latest and greatest hardware. I'd even helped my dad set up his outdated machine, hoping it would inspire him to get me what I truly desired. Christmas Eve arrived with the usual family gatherings, the warmth of the fireplace, and the scent of pine and cookies in the air. I tried to play it cool, but my eyes kept darting to the tree where a large, oddly shaped gift sat, wrapped in silver and blue. "That's gotta be it," I whispered to myself, barely containing my excitement. Christmas morning, I tore into that gift first, and there it was, but not the PC, a peculiar old monitor. It looked ancient, with a bulky CRT screen and a note attached, "For your old soul, a glimpse into the past." My parents laughed at my disappointed look, assuring me it was a collector's item, but my heart sank. I decided to set it up anyway, thinking maybe it could be a fun project. Plugging it in, the screen flickered to life with a static buzz, showing a grainy image of our living room. But it was different, colder, as if from another time. I adjusted the antenna-like knobs, and suddenly the screen cleared to reveal a family, eerily similar to mine, sitting around a Christmas tree. Their faces were pale, and their eyes were hollow. Then the scene on the monitor started to change. It showed this family opening gifts, but instead of joy, there was dread. Each gift they opened seemed to sap the life from them, their movements becoming more sluggish, their smiles forced. Then the screen panned to the tree, where a single, undecorated branch held a small box wrapped in black. Eventually curiosity overrode my fear. I reached out to touch the screen, and to my shock, my hand went through it. A cold, unnatural chill enveloped my arm, pulling me slightly forward. I yanked back, heart racing, but the room in the monitor had changed again, now showing my own living room, with me at the center, watching this cursed screen. The family in the monitor began to move, not just in the screen, but towards it, as if they could see me. Their whispers filled my room, cold air seeping from the monitor. I tried to turn it off, but the power button did nothing. Desperate, I unplugged it, but the screen continued to glow, their forms now reaching out of the screen towards me. I heard my name from their lips, either a plea or a warning, I couldn't tell. The room grew colder, the festive lights dimming, the joy of Christmas replaced by a creeping dread. I ran to my parents, but when I looked back, the monitor was gone, replaced by a black box under the tree, identical to the one in the vision. That Christmas, I learned that some gifts come with a price far beyond money or technology. The monitor had shown me a glimpse of a curse, one that might have been mine if I had not pulled back. Each Christmas since, I've been wary of what lies beneath the wrapping, always remembering the cold touch of that other family, forever trapped in their eternal, joyless Christmas. My wife and I drove in to stay with my in-laws for the holidays a few years ago, but literally as we were making the trek, the forecast changed to a blizzard. Since we were already more than halfway there, we decided to continue the journey, a decision which would prove fateful. Our Tesla, a Model S, was our pride and joy, not just for its sleek design, but for the advanced tech that seemed to promise safety no matter the weather. The car's navigation system showed the quickest route through the growing storm, and its heated seats and steering wheel offered a sense of comfort, however small it might have been, as the whiteout conditions worsened. We were crawling now, the road barely visible under layers of snow, when our car suddenly jolted to a stop. A tree, heavy with ice, had fallen across the road, blocking our path. We were stranded, the only sound the howl of the wind and the soft hum of our car's battery. My wife checked her phone, no signal. We were isolated, with the temperature plummeting. The Tesla's heating was on, but we knew the battery would drain fast under such conditions. Panic set in, and we literally had no plan B in this remote area, far from civilization. As we sat there, contemplating our next move, the car's onboard computer suddenly chimed with an alert. Emergency protocol activated, preparing for autonomous navigation to safety. We hadn't known about this feature, or if it was even reliable in such extreme weather, but we had little choice. The Tesla's lights turned to a piercing blue, illuminating the snow like daylight. With a gentle hum, it backed up, and maneuvered around the fallen tree in a way no human could in this visibility. The car's sensors and cameras, along with its AI, guided us onto a barely visible side road, one we'd never have seen or risked. Then the unexpected happened. The car's navigation system displayed a message. Route to nearest shelter calculated. Please remain calm. It wasn't just driving, it was thinking, adapting to the storm's ferocity. We followed the route, the car navigating through what seemed like a maze of snow-covered back roads, until we arrived at an old ranger station, lights dimly glowing through the blizzard. We knocked, and to our relief, an old ranger opened the door, his face a mix of surprise and concern. He welcomed us in, explaining that this station was rarely used in winter, but he decided to stay due to the storm's severity. He knew of the Tesla's capabilities from tech articles, and was amazed it had found this place. We spent the night there, safe from the blizzard that raged outside. The ranger told us stories of past winters, of travelers lost to the snow, making our situation seem even more perilous in hindsight. In the morning, with the storm having passed, our Tesla was still at 20% battery, enough to get us to my in-laws. The car's advanced systems, including its ability to manage energy and navigate autonomously, had saved us from a potentially deadly situation. That Christmas, as we sat by the fire with family, I couldn't help but think of our Tesla not just as a machine, but as something of a guardian angel. It had given us a story to tell, one where technology, in the face of nature's fury, had indeed saved the day. A few weeks before Christmas 12 years ago, I happened to meet this gorgeous woman named Stacy through mutual friends. She had this magnetic charm, with eyes that seemed to light up the room, and a laugh that could thaw the coldest winter night. We hit it off instantly, and soon we were spending every evening together, the holiday season adding an extra layer of magic to our budding romance. As Christmas approached, Stacy seemed oddly fixated on one particular tradition, the exchange of Christmas stockings. She insisted we should do it, saying it was her favorite part of the holiday. I agreed, charmed by her enthusiasm, and we bought each other simple, festive stockings to hang by the fireplace. On Christmas Eve, we hung our stockings and went to bed, excited for the morning. But when we woke up, something was off. My stocking was empty, while Stacy's was stuffed to the brim with gifts, each one wrapped in black paper with silver snowflakes. I laughed, thinking it was some playful jest, but then Stacy's face turned pale. "They're not from me," she whispered, her voice trembling as she looked at the gifts. I tried to ease the tension by unwrapping one, only to find an old silver locket inside. It was beautiful, but felt cold, and unnaturally so. As I opened it, a sepia-toned photo of a woman who looked eerily like Stacy stared back at us. The back of the locket read, "Forever yours, December 24th. Stacy's stories about her family were sparse, and now her silence was deafening. She explained in a shaky voice that her great-aunt, who looked just like her, had vanished on Christmas Eve many years ago. Apparently the only thing she left behind was a Christmas stocking filled with mysterious gifts. The room grew colder, the festive lights flickering as if something was draining their energy. The other gifts in Stacy's stocking were equally unsettling, a rusted key, a diary from the 1920s, and a small, frozen rose. Each item seemed to carry a story of loss, of love that turned tragic. As night fell again, the house felt different. The warmth of Christmas was replaced by an eerie chill. We heard whispers, the soft, mournful singing of a Christmas carol from somewhere within the walls. The locket, now on the mantel, seemed to glow with a faint light, drawing our eyes to it. Stacy, now visibly terrified, suggested we return the items to the stocking, hoping it would end whatever was happening. We did so, placing each item back with shaking hands. But as we did, the room's temperature dropped further, and the whispers grew louder, clearer, calling out our names, dates, all linked to Christmas tragedies. Just before midnight, the last gift, the diary, flipped open on its own to a page where the handwriting matched that on the locket. It detailed a curse, passed down through the family, where one member would disappear each Christmas Eve, drawn into the stocking by the gifts of the past. With only minutes left, we decided to burn the stocking, hoping to break the cycle. As the flames consumed it, the house returned to normal, the cold dissipating, the whispers fading into silence. Yet, the locket remained, unburnt, a chilling reminder. Stacy and I got married 3 years after that, but the fear was still real. And every Christmas since, we've avoided stockings. However, I can't help but wonder if Stacy still hears those whispers, and if she too will one day become part of the haunting legacy of her family's Christmas curse.